Signers! Have you ever thought about what school options look like for kids who are deaf and hard of hearing? Well, in this video, I give you a breakdown of all of those options. So let's learn about school options for children who are deaf and hard of hearing. When talking about schooling options for deaf and hard of hearing students, there are typically three options. The first is Schools for the Deaf. Now, these are state-funded schools. Typically, there's at least one in each state. These schools offer instruction through deaf and hard of hearing teachers or fluent signers. So deaf students receive instruction in ASL. These students typically stay on the property of the school in dorm rooms. So think of colleges. Now, the parents can live near the school where the student goes home every single night to stay at home and then come back during the day. But the majority of students stay in the dorms. They have house parents here to take care of those students. Since the majority of students live there during the week, they're provided with breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and school options during the day, and in the evening, they have different activities to keep these students involved. This can include extracurriculars or sports. Now you're probably thinking, what is the cost of this? Well, it's completely free. The state taxes pay for this. So what about transportation to and from school? Well, let's take the School for the Deaf in Texas. It is in Austin, Texas, but as we know, the state of Texas is huge. Depending on where the parents live in distance from the school, the child is typically bused or they will fly home on weekends. And again, this is no charge to the student or the family. The benefit of having your child go to the School for the Deaf is the immersion in the language and receiving instruction from these deaf and hard of hearing teachers and fluent signers. Students are going to have more opportunities as well, such as audiologists and speech pathologists, there for them in knowing how to specifically cater to deaf and hard of hearing students. Not to mention, deaf schools are a central hub to the culture of ASL and deaf culture. These Schools for the Deaf also offer pre-K programs and early childhood programs, as well as programs for after high school that students can learn a specific trade or life skills. The second option is what we call mainstream programs. Now, this can differ depending on where this child lives. Say, for instance, a child lives in a city that has a large program that deaf students can attend a local school. This isn't like a School for the Deaf. This is a regular high school, but with a deaf ed program in it. These programs can have a deaf ed teacher along with interpreters at that school. It depends on how large the city is to depending how many students attend that school. With this option, students can have a few different options within the schooling. They can be in a classroom with a deaf ed teacher. The teacher teaches in sign language. Or a student can go out into a class with an interpreter, and the deaf ed teacher checks in to make sure that the student is provided the services needed. Depending on the size of the program will depend on how many deaf ed teachers are provided and how many interpreters are provided. But say, for instance, a student is the only deaf student within this school. This is where there will be one interpreter for this one student, and this interpreter will follow the student around to every activity that they have throughout the day. And the third one is oral programs. Now, this is where you're teaching a student how to speak and lip read. This is incredibly difficult. Learning through this method relies highly on technology, such as cochlear implants and hearing aids. Depending on the area where the family lives, there might be more opportunities for these oral programs. It might be within the school that the child is going to and receiving speech therapy through that school, or a student might go to a program that the parents have to pay for, and that way they have access to all different professionals within this oral method. The idea of pushing the oral method is so this deaf and hard of hearing student can be like hearing people. This method is very controversial within the deaf community. Out of all of these three options within the deaf community, it's preferred that a deaf student go to a School for the Deaf. This is where the cultural hub is, as well as the best access to teachers and professionals within American Sign Language. To learn more about Schools for the Deaf, look up your School for the Deaf in your state. Here are a few signs for schooling options for students who are deaf and hard of hearing. School for the Deaf. It's two I hands. The dominant is right on top of the other. School for the Deaf. Oral is the V hand bent and moving it around your lips. Oral. Mainstream are 2 5 hands where the students are moving in together. And there's your bonus signs for the day. Let us know down in the comments what other pieces of deaf culture that you want to learn. ASL has a rich history and community that we'd love to share. And if you like this video, be sure to hit that like button. And until next time, keep learning how to sign.